down into the town of Shaoba. It is in the vicinity of Beichuan, the city that was utterly obliterated in the May 12 earthquake. But right now, it is this river and others like it in these mountains that represent what the Chinese government are saying is the most serious immediate threat in this disaster. The fear is that massive Quake lakes will shortly burst their banks and send millions and millions of litres of water downstream, washing away towns and villages in their path. This is just one of the rivers leading to 34 Quake lakes that have formed. We were going to try to walk up to this particular one, but in the last few minutes there's been another major aftershock. It has brought in fresh landslides in the road just ahead of us. It has brought down a freshly part of this enormous hillside on one side of the river and also on the other side of the river. Right now, the lake that is causing the greatest amount of concern is a place called Shan. It has 29 metres risen behind a landslide that has formed a dam 29 metres of water above where the river normally is. There is a military team now that is going into place there with explosives to try to effect a controlled release of that water to prevent a cataclysmic downpouring of that water into the towns downstream. But now, with rain coming in, more aftershocks, this is an enormously dangerous, still enormously unstable area with the potential for more problems for the people in this benighted part of Sichuan Province. Hugh Riminton, CNN, above Shaoba, China.
起跑！
像现在这个时代埋设炸点吗？
安全！不准看到石头。卫生队注意警戒，警戒！起爆马上开始，起爆马上开始。收到。
看一下水流，它水流能大一点。
Well, Max, we've walked into one of these so-called Quake lakes, and it really is just an astonishing sight, this. It gives yet another insight into the forces that work here on May the 12th when this earthquake comes through. Have a look behind me, because this was a hillside, and when the quake came, that entire side of that mountain thundered down. It came crashing down into a river valley, the river valley in this case of the Chaping River. And as it did so, as you can see this valley behind me, it blocked off completely this river. And the consequence of all of that is that a lake has started to form in here. It is rising at the rate of 2 meters every day. We've not had any heavy rainfall so far, so this is just on the natural fall from the mountains up behind. 2 meters every day. It stretches back already more than 5 kilometers. It has drowned out the houses of 8,000 to 9,000 people who previously lived further up this valley. But as it rises, this unstable landslide dam that exists here is going to be overspilled at the current rate of this rise in the next 5 to 6 days. And this is the dilemma for them at this particular Quake Lake. They've already looked at it, and they've decided that they can't use explosives in this particular case. They've got an evacuation plan for the 50,000 people immediately downstream of here in case there's an earthquake, heavy rain, or any other event that causes the cataclysmic collapse of this landslide dam. It would be a horrendous event, Max, and it has them deeply concerned. There are 700,000 people directly at risk now from Quake lakes across the Sichuan Province area, Max.
And you mentioned explosives there, but what are the options available to the authorities in dealing with these Quake lakes?
Well, they're trying to get experts out to these 30-plus lakes around this area because each one has to be dealt with on its own merits. And they have been flying in military experts into the largest of the Quake lakes. It's very inaccessible. You have to pretty much fly in there. You're not able to walk in as we were able to do. They are talking about an option there to use explosives. We're talking to some engineers and geologists who were here a little while ago. They do not believe at this situation that explosives are going to help much. They say there is just such a mass of rubble they can't shift it by explosives. What they're going to try to do, it seems, is bring up bulldozers, a difficult, dangerous task in itself, and try to drive a channel through at the lowest point of this landslide so that as this lake starts to rise up, it has a natural spillway, a controlled and measured spillway, again, to try to avoid a cataclysmic collapse. The difficulty is it is fundamentally unstable. Even if they achieve that, they still have a long-term problem, a long-term threat to the people downstream, Max.
What force of nature blows apart a mountain to leave a new mountain of debris big enough to dam a river and create a new lake already 70 meters deep? Buried beneath this are a road, houses, a small hydro plant. The experts say the lake is rising 2 meters a day, and at that rate, even without rain, within a week, the water will begin to spill over the top and perhaps cause this dam to burst. Chen Fa-shu was 2 kilometers upstream when the mountain exploded.
I heard the rumble of it. I rushed outside, and everything suddenly went dark with the dust.
She lost everything.
I can't speak about this without crying.
The lake now stretches back 5 kilometers. It is drowning the now abandoned villages where until 2 weeks ago 8,000 people lived. Chen Fa-shu and her husband want to get back before it's too late to see if there's anything to be saved. And suddenly their hope arrives. For 10 days, sometimes with his father, Li Ping has made 2 trips a day upriver on homemade rafts. We have evacuated more than 200 people on these rafts, he says. In the last 2 days, he says, he has also retrieved 5 bodies floating in the water. Today, he's returning with what he salvaged from his own home. Chen Fa-shu begs him to make another journey back, but he's reluctant. He has a long way to carry all that he has saved from his own life. And while that drama plays, another life and death struggle is underway nearby. A tiny kitten is caught in the lake and now is making a determined push for shore. What has this kitten survived over the last 2 weeks?
Now we found him. Do we get to keep him?
Well, it's tempting, but I'm too slow. While my back is turned, a doctor plucks up the little fellow. We can only hope he gives him the care that he deserves. Meanwhile, Li Ping's father has now volunteered to return upriver, and he will take Chen's husband.
It is a dangerous journey, and it's already mid-afternoon. It'll be nightfall before they get up to where the villagers are. And yet, this is a trip they believe they must take for the man to go and see what's left of his house, to see what he can retrieve, for the soldiers to see for themselves what the situation is upriver.
The waters are placid, but it is a flimsy vessel in a place of primeval force. No one here trusts anymore the water or the earth beneath them. Hugh Riminton, CNN, on the Chaping River, China.